Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I wanted to go through the assembly and mounting of the Shuttle Buddy Pro version onto the Helix Humminbird ice shuttle. This assembly is for the Shuttle Buddy base model, Shuttle Buddy Pro base model. If you did order the Shuttle Buddy Pro model with the lure charger, that's going to end up going right here on the top plate, and that assembly is pretty straightforward. Just follow the instructions on the instruction card that came with the box. All right, so first unload your box and lay out all your parts, and let's make sure we've got everything. So when you unload your box, you should end up with two vertical uprights, one labeled R and one labeled L. You should have a top plate, which is identified by the two tool holders, the little squares. A bottom plate, which doesn't have the squares. 6 different turret clamps, actually sets of turret clamps, 3 different sets. A 1.12 set, a 1.4, and a 1.25 holster set. You should have 2 male turret clamps and 2 female turret clamps. Hardware: 4 EPDM 3/4 inch spacers that are about 1/4 inch thick, 4 HDPE 1/2 inch thick spacers, 4 1024 button bolts with the 1024 nuts, 2 hex keys, a small and a large, 12 of the screws, 1-inch screws, 4 of the 3/4 inch screws, 2 1.5 inch 1/4 20 button bolts, 3 3/4 inch button bolts, 2 1-inch 1/4 20 button bolts, 2 washers, and then 6 1/4 20 nuts. Once you've ensured you've got all the parts, let's get to the assembly. So I'm going to move some stuff around here to create some space so we can see what's going on. Take your top and bottom plate and flip them over so that you can see the nut insert locations for each the top and bottom plate. Then take 2 1/4 20 nuts. Make sure to find the flat end versus the round end. The flat end gets pushed in first into the little pocket, into the nut insert pocket. So line up the faces, press those in. Line up the faces on the other one, press those in. Then come over and find the 4 1024 nuts. And you're going to do the same thing. Flat side into the pocket, line up the faces, and press those in. They should go in fairly easy. Just make sure to get the faces lined up before you start pressing so it doesn't get out of whack. Okay, so once those are in, turn both those plates back over. Now you're going to go back over and get your turret clamp pieces, male and female. You're going to get your male pieces first, and you'll see on the back side there's 3 different locations for these rubber inserts. Now, depending on what size pole you're using, you're going to use different configurations. If you're using a 1.4 or larger transducer pole, which is the Humminbird, and I think the clam pole is the 1.5 inch as well, you will not use any inserts whatsoever. Okay? If you're using a 1.25 pole, which is the TKI pole, you're going to use 1 insert in the very center location of both of these clamps. And they just press in, and that's it. And they would look just like that. If you're using the Summit pole or the HD Innovations pole, or what I would say is more the standard, which is the 1.1/8", you're going to put in 2 inserts, one on either side of that radius. So that's what I'm going to set this one up for, the 1.25, I'm sorry, the 1.125, 1.1/8". So both of them should look just like that. Okay. So now flip them back over. So they're going to get inserted or screwed into your plate like that. So find your 4 10/24 3/4 inch bolts and the small hex key wrench and get those started. And I like to just get them poking through the bottom of the part. And that will then allow you to find the correct hole. So they're just poking through the bottom there. Now put them into the holes and tighten them down. And you just want to snug those up, and you'll feel the nut on the bottom kind of pulling itself through and seating up against the back side of the plastic. And you just want to snug them up, and that's all you need to do. Ensure that the thread is just starting to poke through the nut, the plastic on the nut insert, and that locks them into place. Okay, when that one's done, move over to this one. And just get them going through the back side slightly. Line them up in the holes. Snug. Snug. And you can see they're set into the nylocks there. Now take the female portion of the clamp and find the 2 1-inch 1/4 bolts. Start those. Let's go on this one here. And again, you're going to tighten those down. Now throughout the season, these may come a little loose. You're going to first set them tight, and you can barely move that. Then I like to back it off about 1/4. Moves quite freely, and again, it's locked into place there. Throughout the season, you might create a little wear here. From time to time, you might just cinch that down just a little more to get the correct friction that you like to have. But once it's in place, it locks into the male and female receiver. We'll do the same thing on the other turret clamp. Snug, back it off, and good as new. There you go. Now those are all set and ready to go. Now you're going to take your top plate, which is this one here. Got your tool holder squares, and you're going to identify which pole holster you're going to be using. So since we did the 1.125 on that one, that's what we'll do here. And on these, they're going to press into these 2 slots here. And the taller portion goes away from the hole in the turret clamp or closest to the shuttle when it goes on. So push those through, make sure it's nice and flush down at the bottom in this little area here. Flip it over, find the 4 3/4 inch screws and go ahead and screw those in. Now you can use a drill driver, but start at a very low torque setting so you don't spin out the screws. And they just need to be snug. That one needs just a little more. There we go. Alright, so those are in place, and that's how that should look. Okay, so now bring your bottom plate forward here, sit that one back, and now you're going to mount your side plates. So the side plates have a left and a right, so this is the L, and if we look at the back side, this is the L for this side. So flipping it back over, it should go in like this. You can see the longer face goes with the longer leg here, and this cutout or pocket goes towards the top back. So you're going to press that into place. Same thing here. Here's the R. This is the right side here, and it too is going to line up and get pressed in. And again, they're mirror images, so this pocket here, this pocket right here should line up with that pocket on the other side. Alright, those are in place. Now we're going to take the top and line it up over those little spots into the tabs, and now it's squared up and in the slots. From there, we're going to take and put the side screws in first. So find this hole on the side. It goes in pretty tight. There we go. Once in a while. Nothing hurt. Again, just double check if that happens when you line everything up here. Okay. Never fails when you're on camera, right? Okay, so that's done there. Now we're going to do the same thing on the bottom with those two pieces. And it's important to put the two side screws in first. That draws it into position for the other hole alignment. There we go. Perfect. Now take the 4 screws that will go in the bottom. Drive those in. Okay, flip it back over and do the same thing to the top. Of course, I lost that screw. Found it. So you are fully assembled at that point, solid as a rock. Now you're going to take and identify where you want your handle. And it's all a personal preference. It can go on either this side or it can go on this side, doesn't matter. So for now, let's put it on this side. So in doing so, we're going to take 2 1/4-20 bolts, or I'm sorry, nuts, put them into the inserts locations. Again, flat side in towards the pocket. And they go in opposite corners. So those are in. Now take the 3/4 inch 1/4-20 bolts and add a washer to each of them. So we have the washer there. And then what we're going to do is slowly work those into the canvas part of the handle. It works to actually thread them, kind of spin them as you're putting them in. That plastic is melted, so it creates a little bit of a thread forming substrate for you. Okay, once those are in, I'm going to then go in and go ahead and tighten these down. And again, you want to set that nut or the bolt just through the back side of the nut there so the Nylox does its job. Same thing to the bottom one. Okay, so now your handle is all attached. Next thing you're going to do is take the remaining 2 1/4-20 nuts and insert them into the pockets with the little smiley face. And that's assuming you're going to relocate the rod holders that came with your Helix ice shuttle. If you're not going to relocate those to the outside edge of the Shuttle Buddy Pro, then you don't need to put those inserts in. So I'm just going to leave them out for now, but this is where they would go on either side. So I'm going to leave them out for this assembly. Alright, so now you're all set there. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take the long 1.5 inch bolt and you're going to put it into the slotted screw hole and slide on 2 of the spacers, and you need to do this on both sides. This is where you're going to wish you had 3 hands probably, but it works. So now we've got those bolts and 2 spacers on each side. Now you're going to slide that up, get your cables out of the way. Slide that up, keeping the spacers in place and the bolts. There we go. And now align the holes into the brass and just get one of them started. Do not tighten it down yet. So now that one's started and loose. You go to this side and do the same thing. And it should be pretty close to lined up here once you start screwing it. There it goes. Again, just loose at this point. So now you're going to take the other 2 3/4 inch button bolts, tighten those down. Now this one you can actually draw tight. And then we're going to do the other one on this side. And once those are tight, then come back and cinch these down nice and tight as well. And at that point, you are done. And now we just need ice. So it's ready to go. Thank you very much for watching the assembly. If you have any questions, shoot us a message. Thank you.